Hey guys, Metallica Lloyd 28 here, once again, giving you another video on the New York Mets 2014 offseason. I'm sorry I haven't done a video in a very long time. It's been pretty much a month and a half now since my last video, but the New York Mets offseason, obviously quieted down after the holidays. Not really much going on. But as the Super Bowl's, drawing near and football's going to come to a close, baseball is obviously going to take the center stage now in the next coming weeks, right after the Super Bowl, because spring training is going to start in February. And this is a really exciting time for us. This is what we've been waiting for, us baseball fans, especially Met fans. So there's actually a little bit of stuff going on lately. Obviously, besides the Mets, the crosstown rival Yankees, those bastards, they go on and they fucking sign Masahiro Tanaka to that crazy 7-year, $155 million deal. I mean, that's fucking crazy. So they did that signing, and then of course Matt Garza signed with the Brewers for 4 years, and Grant Balfour. Now this is where my video is gonna start off. This is how it's gonna start off. The New York Mets apparently were in on fucking closer Grant Balfour of the Oakland A's. They were in on him, and they were close to signing him. But guess what, Met fans? They lost Grant Balfour to the Tampa Bay Rays. They missed out on Grant Balfour to the Tampa Bay Rays of all teams. Okay, he used to pitch for them back in, I believe, 2009. He used to pitch for them, or 2010. I don't really remember. That's besides the point. They fucking took Grant Balfour away from our fingertips for 2 years, $12 million. You're telling me Grant Balfour, they didn't want to go pitch for the Mets because apparently he wants to be closer to home in Clearwater, Florida? Is that really the reason why? Come on. I was so high on the Mets offseason once they signed Granderson and Colon and Chris Young, I guess. I hate Chris Young, but Colon. That I was like, oh, okay, this has got to be an A offseason so far for the Mets, because we really thought they were going to go and they were going to trade for a shortstop. They were going to trade Ike Davis for a pitching prospect. All this shit going on. And guess what happens? Fucking they decide that Ike Davis is going to stay with the Mets. They decide that they most likely will move on with Tejada at shortstop, and I want to pull my fucking hair out. In past videos, you guys seen me rant. I did not want to see Ruben Tejada on this team, and I still believe he's not going to be on this team. But the Mets have not that much time left. They have like 3 weeks left to sign a fucking shortstop before spring training begins. And honestly, I don't see them signing a shortstop once spring training starts. It's got to be before then. And I still am going to keep my promise. If the Mets start shortstop Ruben Tejada for the year, I am not going to go see the Mets this year. I don't give a fuck if they sign Granderson, Colon, and Chris Young. Even if they sign a closer or whatever the fuck they're thinking of doing, I'm not going to see them. I need to see another shortstop besides Tejada. I don't mind Ike Davis or Lucas Duda at first base, because that's inevitable. We knew that shit was probably going to happen. But fucking Ruben Tejada? Come on. Are you serious? The Mets can do better than that shit. We deserve a lot better than that. So, my predictions, some came true, some didn't come true. Obviously, my prediction of Bartolo Colon was the best prediction I made. That was pretty much spot on. Even though I made that prediction, I really truly didn't think that was going to happen. I just thought that was something that should have happened. And the Mets blew my mind, and they actually signed him for much more than I thought they would, too. For another year extra than I said, and way more money than I said. I said they were going to get him for 1 year, $6 million. This guy gets 2 years, $20 million. But whatever, that's besides the point. They signed him, and I was happy that I got something right, okay? But they didn't trade Ike Davis like I thought they would. And I thought they were going to trade him for a shortstop or for another outfield bat straight up. My trade, and I still would love this trade, Ike Davis for Matt Joyce straight up, but that's not going to happen now. It seems like his value on the trade market has gone severely down after it was leaked that Sandy Alderson was denied of a trade 2 times, or 3 times actually, by 3 different teams. The Brewers for Tyler Thornburg, their pitching prospect. Brewers said no. Pirates for their pitching prospect, Nick Kingham, no. And then the Orioles for their pitching prospect, Eduardo Rodriguez, no. That's 3 big fat no's for pitching prospects that no one has even fucking heard of. With maybe the possibility of people knowing Thornburg, because I personally knew Thornburg before that trade. But I didn't know who the fuck Eduardo Rodriguez was or Nick Kingham. Who cares? So Ike Davis is going to stay, and he's going to battle it out with Lucas Duda for the starting first base job out of spring training. I personally do believe Ike Davis is going to win the job because not because he's good, because he's not, but only because of his stance with the front office. The front office adores this guy. They do. They don't want to admit it, but they do. Okay. I honestly am starting to believe that all this trade rumors for Ike Davis was all false. It was all a lie. They just wanted to do that to scare the living shit out of this guy to maybe bring his potential back up to where it used to be. They wanted to push him so that he can have more of a how do I say, more of a determination to want to win the job and pretty much go back to hitting 30 bombs like he did in 2012 and possibly hit for a higher average, maybe a 250. I mean, I don't know if I'm dreaming there, but 250 is reasonable for a fucking power hitter. Okay? Now, we're going to have to live with that. But this is why I'm making this video, because things are starting to heat up. Besides the fact that the Mets had just agreed to terms with John Lannon, starting pitcher from the Philadelphia Phillies. You may know him more from being on the Nationals. He was pretty much once their ace when the Nationals were in their god-awful years for years in a row. John Lannon was pretty much their ace before Strasburg and Gio Gonzalez and even Jordan Zimmerman. So the Mets signed John Lannon to a minor league deal, with an invitation to spring training. But today, they also re-signed Daisuke Matsuzaka to a minor league deal with an invite to spring training. So it's getting a little interesting for the fifth spot in the rotation. That job is pretty much up for grabs for anybody. The front runner, in my opinion, is Henry Mejia, clearly. And then you got the pitching prospect Rafael Montero, who I would have loved to have that job be given to him. And then also Jacob deGrom. And now it's John Lannon and Daisuke. But the main reason why I'm making this video is because I'm hearing now that the Mets, since they lost out on Grant Balfour, are thinking of signing closer Fernando Rodney. Wow. Are you fucking kidding me? Listen, jeez. Fernando Rodney. Okay, yeah, the guy that closed for the Rays who had like a 1 ERA 2 years ago. He didn't have an amazing year last year. He had, let me go through the numbers. He had, I believe, 30, hold on, I got the number right here. He had 37 saves out of 45 chances with a 3.38 ERA and a 5.4 record. So not as great as a year as he did in 2012, but still, a solid year. He's going to be 37 at the start of the season, okay? So he's getting up there in age. But right now the Mets need a veteran closer or a strong end reliever for the back end of that bullpen, because Bobby Parnell, even though he's the closer, his health is a main concern, obviously with the neck surgery that he had. So the Mets are seeming that the Mets are looking to get another closer. And who knows? They might get another closer and make him the new closer. I don't know. Or maybe it's a fullback option just in case if Parnell really wasn't ready. So I preferably, in my opinion, if they sign Fernando Rodney, he should be the closer. Same thing as if they were as if they were to sign Grant Balfour. I would have preferred him to be the closer over Bobby Parnell. But we'll see what happens. The Mets, in my opinion, do I strongly believe they might sign Fernando Rodney? 70% chance they are, and it's going to be in the coming days. Maybe even today, tomorrow, or Sunday. Who knows? But by the end of this weekend, you might see the Mets sign a new closer, whether it's Fernando Rodney or another guy that comes out of the blue, like a Kevin Gregg or a Mitchell Boggs, is what I'm hearing. So the Mets are going to sign a reliever, a back-end reliever at that. And it proves, in a way it's good and in a way it's bad. It's bad because obviously it shows that the Mets are not an attractive destination still, because Balfour denied the Mets. He denied a play in the New York market, a play in shitty-ass Tampa Bay. Even though the Rays are great, their stadium sucks, their attendance sucks, and they might move out of that fucking stadium, Tropicana Field. They might move out of there. But they still managed to get Grant Balfour back. I don't know if it maybe has to do with the ties he had to the team. He did pitch there before, like I said. But you're choosing to go to the AL East, the hard-ass AL East, instead of the NL East. I mean, the NL East is great too, don't get me wrong, but it's not the AL East. And it's not going to be the AL East probably ever. So the guy's basically choosing to pitch in a tougher division for less money because he wants to be closer to home. I don't know if I buy that. So that's the bad sign. But the good sign is that the Mets are showing that they do have more money than they said they had, and they're willing to spend it. So if they have this money, then why the fuck are they not signing Stephen fucking Drew? I know in past videos, I know I said I didn't want Stephen fucking Drew. I know I wanted to trade for a shortstop instead. But at this rate, it doesn't look like the Mets are going to trade any pitching for a shortstop. They're not going to trade Ike Davis. They're not going to get a shortstop of great caliber for Ike Davis. So if they're not going to go out and make a trade for a Chris Owings from Arizona, or Asdrubal Cabrera, or J.J. Hardy, or the guys from Seattle, Brad Miller, Nick Franklin, or the other guy from Arizona, Didi Gregorius, they're not going to get any of those guys, it seems. I would have loved that to happen, but they're not going to give up a pitcher like Dylan G, or Jonathan Neese for one of these shortstops, or Henry Mejia even. Okay, maybe Montero on the ground, but that's not even going to get you Chris Owings. You gotta have to throw in a reliable starter that has major league experience like John Neese or Dylan G. And right now the Mets cannot trade John Neese. I mean, this guy is pretty much the only lefty they have that is reliable. No offense to John Lannon, but he hasn't pitched for the Mets yet. So John Neese is a stable. He's one of the longest tenured Mets right now on his team, besides David Wright, obviously, and Bobby Parnell and Daniel Murphy. So they're kind of like the Mets core four right now. It's David Wright, Jonathan Neese, Daniel Murphy, and Bobby Parnell. Not in terms of performance and ability, no, in terms of stature on the team, how long they've been on the team. Okay, obviously the captain David Wright, and then those three other guys. The core four for the Mets clearly would be David Wright, Matt Harvey, Zach Wheeler, and Noah Syndergaard once Syndergaard comes up. I'm not putting Curtis Granderson in that conversation. The guy's too old to be in a core. I'm sorry. Great pickup, but he's not going to be in that discussion because as just easily the Mets can pick up a real true cleanup hitter, and Granderson would be out of the picture. Like they wouldn't even remember to have Granderson. You're telling me the Mets go out and trade for Carlos Gonzalez or Giancarlo Stanton that people are going to give a fuck that they have Curtis Granderson? Of course they're not. They're not. Hold on, actually, I have a fucking video going on right now. Alright, sorry about that. But anyway, so if I'm looking at the Mets payroll right now, with all the arbitration raises now done, I'm gonna go through each salary for the year. So David Wright's gonna be making $20 million this year. Curtis Granderson is actually not gonna make the 15. He's making the 13, which shows that his 4-year, $60 million deal is really gonna be backloaded. Same thing for Cologne. He's making $9 million this year, so that means he's gonna make $11 million next year. Chris Young is still making the $7.25 million, obviously. Murphy's making more. He's 5.7. Okay, it was 5.1 was his estimate. He made 5.7. Jonathan Neese obviously with his $5 million. Bobby Parnell $3.7 million. Dylan G $3.625 million. Wow. Ike Davis $3.5 million. Eric Young Jr. $1.85 million. Lucas Duda $1.6375 million. That's a little too much for him. John Lannon $1.5 million. And Ruben Tejada $1.1 million. Sorry. So right now, their payroll is $76.8625 million, and when you round out the roster with 12 players at the $500,000 major league minimum for an additional $6 million, and plus apparently they're going to be paying more than 25 guys because there's going to be guys that are going to go on the disabled list, and people are going to get called up, and they're obviously going to spend the money on them. They're saying that Adam Rubin from ESPN New York is estimating that to be an extra $4.25 million. So the Mets payroll right now is at $87.1 million. Okay, which is roughly around the amount they said they were going to have for next year, probably a little higher than that. But if the Mets are willing to shell out two-year $12 million deals for a reliever, then they got some money. They got some more money to spend, and they got a lot more than what we thought they did. So all of this is a game the Mets are playing, okay? This is all a lie. So whenever you hear the Mets are saying that they're not going to get somebody, you should be happy as a Mets fan because that means they are going to get somebody. They work in reverse. The Mets are in backwards. Remember how they said they weren't going to sign Bartolo Colon? And what did they do like pretty much the next day? They signed Bartolo Colon, okay? What the fuck? They say they're not going to go out for a long-end back-end reliever of status like Balfour, and what do? They go after Balfour. Yeah, they didn't sign him, but they went after him. Okay? Now they're saying they're not going to try to go after Stephen Drew. What are they really going to do? They're going to sign Stephen Drew. Right now, the Mets right now with this team on paper are an 81 to 82 win team. I strongly believe that. Not going to get them in the playoffs. But if the Mets sign today Fernando Rodney to be their closer, or even their 8th inning guy and Parnell be their closer, and they sign Stephen Drew, this team automatically becomes an 85 to 87 win team and a strong push for the second wildcard spot. I strongly believe that. And I do still believe that the Mets can make a big trade mid-season. If they're in contention mid-season, the Mets can go out and sign a big slugger in the middle of the year. A guy like Andre Ethier or Carlos Gonzalez even, a Troy Tulowitzki, who knows. Okay, so I strongly believe the Mets can do that. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see. My prediction for Stephen Drew, I would look at maybe a 2-year, $22 or $24 million deal for him. That's very considerable for him. That should get it done. And then by the time his contract's over, our shortstop prospect, Gavin Cicchini, would be ready. Everyone's projecting he'll be ready by 2016 or the latest 2017. So let's see what happens, Met fans. Let's cross our fingers, and hopefully I can come with you to another video saying how we signed Fernando Rodney and Stephen Drew. it's a bust if they don't sign either one of those guys. I would love to have both. If they have one of those guys, even better. They sign Rodney, they might get an extra 2 wins out of that. They might get a 83 win team. Sign Drew, 87. Easily, 87 wins. I mean, he's a huge upgrade over fucking Ruben Tejada. So, we'll see what happens. I will be coming out with more videos, so don't worry. I will be coming out with more videos. I'm going to come out with probably 2 to 3 more videos before opening day. And then the big video I'm gonna make that I've been waiting to fucking do for now months is obviously the video on opening day. I'm gonna come up with a video that day on opening day, March 31st, possibly in the morning, and I'm gonna come out telling you guys what the opening day projected lineup is gonna be. You know, I'm gonna go over who's gonna be starting who's gonna be starting for the Mets that day against the Nationals. Right now, the front runners are between Cologne and Nice. It's not gonna be Wheeler, from what I'm hearing. So it's going to be a very exciting time. I'm going to go over pretty much everything that has gone on also in free agency by then, because I'm pretty sure all the guys are going to be off the board, like Nelson Cruz, Irvin Santana, you know, Ubaldo Jimenez, obviously Drew and Rodney. A lot of things are going to happen, maybe possibly another trade. So I'm also going to go on before opening day. I'm going to make the huge prediction, and that is to go over my predicted standings for in the entire Major League Baseball, including the Mets, obviously, and the playoffs, and who's eventually going to be the 2014 World Series champions. So, thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate it. If you guys keep subscribing to my channel, that's Metallicaloid28, so I can keep getting, you know, these videos out here for you, informing you about baseball news, particularly the Mets, because I am a Mets fan. So, so I'll come out with another video soon, shortly, probably in the next week or so. Okay, guys? So, thanks for watching once again, and you guys have a great day. Thank you.